This story is as heartbreaking as it is horrifying. It's about the gruesome murder of a young woman, a crime that not only ended her life, but left the world reeling with shock. What makes it even more chilling is the brutality of the act. Her body was mutilated, with her genitals removed. This isn't just a tale of violence, it's a tragic reminder of how love and trust can turn into something unimaginably dark. But what would trigger such a sad end to a love tale? Was death the only available option? Stay tuned as we understand and perhaps learn from the murder case of Augusta Osedion.
And this is the home of everybody on the earth. There is no single person that will not enter this home. No one person that will not enter this home. Benjamin belongs to the highest court. I can't fight him. He has people backing him up in legion. But I have the Almighty, my mommy. I promise you, God will fight for your justice. And I will never give up. That is what you know. Your mother is a lion. You know me, I'm a fighter. I will not die. You want me to be with you, but I've told you I can't be with you. I want to stay and fight for you. And my God will back me up. And we'll get it together. Happy Thanksgiving.
Benjamin Best, known to his followers as Killer Boy, was once the picture of wealth and success. His Instagram was filled with snapshots of expensive cars, designer clothes, and luxurious parties. He was a rising socialite and a self-proclaimed blockchain developer. Many believed he had it all. Alongside him was Augusta Osedion, a young influencer with a bright future. Her Instagram feed shone with beauty, fashion, and the promise of a glamorous life. Together, they were an admired couple, envied by many for their lavish lifestyle. But behind the sparkling images and perfect captions, there was a hidden story of pain, tension, and betrayal. In the public eye, everything looked ideal. However, the private reality was filled with arguments, secret messages, and a relationship on the brink of collapse. The social media posts were just a mask. No one saw the cracks forming behind closed doors. Friends and family had noticed subtle signs of discord. Yet, the couple managed to keep their troubles hidden from the world. Augusta's life was as bright as her online persona. At just 21, she was already making waves in Lagos, Nigeria. While studying at Lead City University, her charm drew people to her. Her style was impeccable, and her smile could light up a room. Every post, every story was a glimpse into what seemed like a perfect life. But the reality was far more complex. Augusta was not only a celebrated influencer, but also a young woman struggling with the weight of a toxic relationship. Benjamin, or Killer Boy as he was known, had built his reputation on flashiness and audacity. He often boasted about his wealth and his ability to live life on his own terms. However, his past was marred by controversy. In 2021, he was reported to have been in a scandal involving a massive financial fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in Nigeria, had accused him of siphoning off a staggering sum of money through fraudulent schemes. This event raised questions about his true character. Was he a brilliant entrepreneur, or was there something more suspicious behind his rise? Despite the scandal, Killer Boy continued to post images of luxury and success. He and Augusta appeared inseparable in their public displays of affection. They traveled together, attended glamorous parties, and celebrated life in style. Their social media profiles painted a picture of eternal happiness and endless fun. To many, their love seemed unbreakable. However, beneath the surface, the relationship was far from perfect. Close friends of the couple revealed that arguments were common. There were heated exchanges and moments of tension that never made it to the public feed. Augusta once tried to mend the cracks in their bond. In a desperate call to her mother, she spoke about their fights and the constant pain that she felt. That phone call was a cry for help. It was the first sign that something was deeply wrong. On a seemingly ordinary day in July 2023, everything changed. The world watched in shock when Killer Boy took to social media with a confession that would send chills the hearts of his followers. His post was simple and blunt. "I mistakenly stabbed her during an argument." The words sent a shock through the online community. What had started as a turbulent relationship had now turned into a tragedy that no one could have foreseen. The timeline of that fateful day was as murky as it was horrifying. On the evening of July 11th, the couple had tried once more to reconcile. Augusta was determined to fix their broken bond. There were heated exchanges and harsh words. But that night, something snapped. The reconciliation attempt turned into a violent confrontation. By the early hours of July 12th, the situation had escalated beyond control. In a moment of uncontrolled anger, Killeboy's actions would change everything. Hours after the incident, Augusta's absence raised alarm. Her mother tried repeatedly to contact her daughter. When no response came, she grew desperate and decided to visit Killeboy's apartment. What she found upon arrival would haunt her forever. The door was locked and no one answered her calls. With a heavy heart and rising fear, she called the police. When the officers forced their way inside, the scene that greeted them was unimaginable. Inside the apartment lay the mutilated body of Augusta Osedion. The brutal nature of the crime shocked everyone who later learned of it. Augusta's body showed clear signs of a violent struggle. Vital parts were missing, and the room was filled with evidence of severe trauma. The discovery made headlines around the world and left the nation in mourning. No one could understand how a life filled with promise could end in such horror. Killeboy's confession, posted online, was met with disbelief and sorrow. He claimed the act was an accident, a moment of blind rage during a heated argument. Yet, his confession did not match the brutality of the crime scene. Many wondered, was it truly an accident, or was there a deeper, more evil plan behind Augusta's murder? Questions multiplied as the evidence was scrutinized. The stark contrast between the couple's public life and their private turmoil raises many questions. How could a relationship so full of love and luxury turn into one marked by such violence? What drove Killeboy to commit such a horrifying act? And why did he choose to share his confession on social media, leaving behind a trail of puzzling details? In the days that followed, Killeboy became a fugitive. His social media accounts, once filled with glamorous images, went silent. He disappeared without a trace. Meanwhile, the public demanded answers. The investigation launched into full swing, with authorities working tirelessly to piece together the truth. People around the world watched as the case unfolded, eager to learn the truth behind the tragedy. The story of Killeboy and Augusta is not just a tale of a failed relationship. It is a warning about the hidden dangers that can lie beneath a seemingly perfect life. Their lives were a blend of public adoration and private despair. This case makes us question the true nature of those we admire online. It forces us to look beyond the glittering images and recognize that everyone has their struggles. For Augusta, the pressure to maintain a perfect image might have masked the cries for help. For Killeboy, the desire to appear invincible may have hidden deep-seated issues that eventually led to disaster. As the investigation continues and new details emerge, the case remains a puzzle with many missing pieces. As we continue, we will explore the investigation, the manhunt, and the legal battles that followed. How did the authorities track Killeboy? What evidence did they find that led to his capture? And what does this mean for justice in Nigeria? The Nigerian police issued a nationwide alert. They wanted everyone to be on the lookout for Killeboy. Pictures of him were circulated in the media and on social platforms. His face was shown as a warning to those who might have seen him. The police also asked for any tips from the public. They wanted to know his whereabouts. But as the days passed, there was no sign of him. The case took an international turn. Investigators soon learned that Killeboy might have fled the country. Rumors started to spread that he had crossed borders to escape the wrath of the law. The case then drew the attention of law enforcement agencies in neighboring countries, been assisted by the mother of the deceased. One country in particular, Sierra Leone, became a key focus in the hunt for him. Authorities there began to receive tips that pointed in his direction. It was a twist that no one expected. The investigation revealed that Killboy had a known tattoo on his body. This tattoo was a mark of his past. It was a detail that many had noted on his social media posts. Augusta's mother also shared this information with the investigators. She sent pictures of the tattoo to all her relatives and friends, urging them to help identify him. This small detail soon became a critical clue in the case. It was one of the few things that could connect the fugitive to his true identity.
Post passport photographs to all my relatives, all my friends, all my families all over the world, and I told them he has tattoo on his body. That is the way to identify him. So along the line, my cousin in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, my cousin in Sierra Leone on the first hinted me, Auntie, I saw somebody exactly like this. So immediately my son and another of my cousin, they went to Sierra Leone. But when they were in Sierra Leone, a day before they got there, they now declared him wanted. So because they declared him wanted, they started hiding. But then my cousin went there, met with the commissioner of police there, met with everybody and talked, showed the picture of the corpse of my daughter because he actually killed her and left her to rotting, actually killed her and collected her phone with her. So the police there has been working. So yesterday night they kept chatting us. It was around 2 a.m. When my cousins were there, they now went to the hotel he used to lodge. On getting to the hotel, it was a white man. The white man said, no, they can't accommodate a murderer, but he has left their place. That okay, let him print out his passport. You can't believe it. Nigerians all over the world. That he killed my daughter on the 13th of July. Best now, go Benjamin got Sierra Leone passports on the 28th of July. He changed his name. His son name that is Benjamin, he changed it to Kano. His first name that is Best, he changed it to Pristone. His middle name that is Nnayerugo, he changed it to Samuel. So with that passport and the local numbers, the police there began to work for us for the past over 2 weeks now. To the glory of God, yesterday 2 a.m. in the night, Benjamin was caught. He has never bragged that he can never enter handcuff. He's on handcuff. Nigerians, do what? 1% of the pay is gone this morning. Now Benjamin is caught.
In Sierra Leone, the local police took the case seriously. They started checking hotel records, monitoring border crossings, and even looking into suspicious phone calls. The investigation there was intense. The police knew that Killboy was a man who had tried to hide behind a new identity before. Reports emerged that he might have changed his name and altered his appearance. Such tactics were common for someone who had a history of fraud and violence. As the search intensified, the public continued to follow every development. News channels reported on every twist and turn. Many were shocked that someone who had been so high in the social scene could become a wanted criminal. The hunt for Killboy was not just a matter of law enforcement. It became a story that captivated the nation. The public wanted justice for Augusta and answers for the tragedy that had unfolded. Weeks passed with little progress until a major breakthrough came. In a coordinated effort, police in Sierra Leone, working with international law enforcement, managed to narrow down his location. Killboy was spotted at a modest hotel in a small town. The local police received credible tips that someone matching his description was staying there under a false name. The details were not much, but the evidence was enough to start a focused search. On a cold, early morning, the police moved in. The operation was swift. Officers surrounded the hotel and moved carefully to ensure that Killboy could not escape. The tension in the air was high. For those who had followed the case, it felt like a moment of hope after weeks of uncertainty. Finally, the fugitive was captured. The arrest was met with mixed reactions. Many in the public cheered, hoping that justice for Augusta was on the horizon. Others, however, questioned the details of Killboy's capture. Rumors began to swirl that he might have changed his appearance again. There were even whispers that he had altered his identity documents. Despite these rumors, the police confirmed that the man in custody was indeed Killboy. They presented evidence of his tattoo and other personal details that matched his online persona. Following his arrest, Killeboy was taken into custody and questioned. His demeanor was calm, almost detached. In interviews, he repeated his confession, saying, "I mistakenly stabbed her during an argument." But the police did not accept his version of events at face value. They began a deeper investigation into his past. The goal was to understand how a man who once exuded confidence and charm could commit such a brutal act. Investigators dug into Killeboy's history. They uncovered a series of financial crimes and questionable business deals. His involvement with fraudulent schemes in 2021 was a reminder of his ability to manipulate situations to his advantage. Many saw these past crimes as a window into his true character. Was he simply a man driven by rage, or was there a calculated side to him that had orchestrated more than just a spontaneous act of violence? The evidence continued to mount against him. Forensic teams in Nigeria and Sierra Leone worked together to compare evidence from Augusta's crime scene with materials found in Killeboy's possessions. The connections were clear. The methods and details of the crime pointed to a man who was not only violent, but also deeply troubled. His confession, though simple in its wording, did not explain the full extent of the brutality inflicted on Augusta. Friends of Augusta recalled her repeated attempts to mend their relationship. They described her as a gentle soul trapped in a storm of conflicting emotions. Her family later stated that she had tried to fix what was broken, even when the signs of danger were clear. Meanwhile, Killeboy's defense team began to prepare for what would be a long legal battle. They argued that his actions were not planned and that he had acted in a moment of emotional crisis. This claim did little to ease public anger. The Nigerian populace demanded clear answers and strict justice for the loss of Augusta's life. For many, the idea that a man could casually confess to such a violent act, only to then vanish and later be recaptured, was too much to accept without facing the full consequences of his actions. The media played a huge role in keeping the story alive. Every new detail was reported and analyzed. Talk shows, news segments, and online articles debated whether Killeboy's confession was a genuine outburst of guilt or a strategic move to manipulate public opinion. His capture in Sierra Leone did little to settle these debates. Instead, it opened a new chapter in the saga. The legal process was about to begin, and questions about extradition and trial procedures loomed large. At the same time, the emotional toll of the case was evident. Augusta's family grieved the loss of a young woman who had so much promise. Friends and fans mourned a life cut short by a cascade of violent decisions. The tragedy had left scars that ran deep. It was not just about a crime. It was about a broken system that failed to see the warning signs until it was too late. The case of Killeboy and Augusta Osedion remains one of the most disturbing true crime stories in recent memory. The details of the investigation, the hunt for a fugitive, and the eventual capture all add to the chilling narrative. After Killeboy's dramatic capture in Sierra Leone, the nation breathed a brief sigh of relief. Many hoped that justice for Augusta would soon be served. However, the road to justice was long and complex. The legal battle that followed was filled with twists and uncertainties. Authorities in Nigeria and Sierra Leone began a careful legal process to ensure that Killeboy would face trial in the country where the crime took place. The first challenge was extradition. Killeboy's arrest in Sierra Leone set off a series of legal procedures. Nigerian authorities worked closely with their counterparts in Sierra Leone. They exchanged documents, evidence, and legal arguments. The goal was clear: bring Killeboy back to Nigeria so that he could answer for his actions in the court of law. At the same time, Killeboy's defense team argued that he should be tried in Sierra Leone, where he was captured. They claimed that the legal system there would be more fair. However, many in Nigeria felt that justice for Augusta must be sought at home. The extradition process was slow and challenging. Many legal experts noted that cases like these are never simple. They involve both local and international law. The process took weeks, filled with court hearings and legal motions. During this time, the public followed every development with a mix of hope and frustration. As of the time of this report, the case of Benjamin Best, popularly known as Killeboy, remains shrouded in uncertainty and controversy. Despite earlier reports suggesting that he had been apprehended in Sierra Leone following the gruesome murder of his girlfriend, Augusta Osedion, no concrete charges have been filed against him in Nigeria. Furthermore, there is no verified evidence to confirm that Killeboy has been extradited to face justice in his home country, Nigeria. The situation is further complicated by unsettling rumors that Killeboy may have escaped the custody of Sierra Leonean authorities, casting doubt on the effectiveness of international cooperation in this high-profile case. These developments, or lack thereof, have only fueled public outrage, as many question whether justice will ever be served for Augusta, the young social media influencer and Lead City University student whose life was cut tragically short. The trial of Killeboy and the tragic death of Augusta Osedion will remain etched in the collective memory of the nation Nigeria. It is a story of a glamorous life shattered by hidden pain, of social media perfection masking deep personal despair, and of a legal battle that exposed the vulnerabilities of even the most powerful. While no verdict can bring back Augusta, it stands as a reminder of the need for vigilance and compassion in our communities. For Augusta's family and friends, the journey toward healing is just beginning. The loss of a bright, promising life has left a gap that can never be filled. Yet, in their grief, there is also a determination to ensure that her story becomes a powerful lesson for others. A lesson that reminds us all to look deeper, to question what we see online, and to never ignore the subtle warnings that life sometimes gives us. As we close the final chapter of this tragic case, the quest for justice remains a beacon of hope. May Augusta's memory inspire change, and may her story remind us of the importance of compassion, vigilance, and the urgent need to address the hidden scars that lie behind even the most glamorous lives. Thank you for watching our video. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to hit the notification bell for more videos.